Hey everyone, I am Prateek Chaudhary and welcome to Chords podcast. Chords is one-to-one mentorship platform, and today with our podcast, we are here to inspire you. So for today's podcast, we have a co-founder turned into system engineer to a software engineer, Ayush Kalani. Ayush graduated as computer science engineer in 2016, and within 4 years, Ayush have tried so many things and different professions. He started working on a startup called Go Alert, then found his interest in data science, so started working as a research intern, then moved to Verizon as a systems engineer, then to Freshwork as software engineer, and now currently senior software engineer at PayPal. So, hi Ayush, welcome to Chords podcast.
Hey, hi Prateek.
How are you,
Glad to be
Ayush?
here. Glad to be connected. Yeah, I'm good. I'm good.
So, Ayush, we would like to hear some insightful things about your journey, about yourself from you. Then we can move to a specific part of our question.
Yeah, sure. So I'll go ahead and introduce myself. So yeah, my name is Ayush, and I have around 4 years of work experience in like different industries in different domains and in solving different problems. So I graduated in 2016, and I started up my own startup called Go Alert in college. So what it did was it used to solve the problems of the students, like all the students in the K-12 segment, like class 11th and 12th, they had a lack of information of the different exams and the different opportunities they had. So our tool or our application used to help the people, in the tier two, tier three cities of people where the internet penetration is low. So our startup used to help them. So that was my initial, brush up with technology. So uh, yeah, so it was a college project turned into a company, and we had a lot of fun, like creating a project from starting, learning a lot of good things, like marketing. How do you talk to customers? How do you talk to students? How do you, make a server, and how do you make sure the costs are very low, because it's a college project
Yeah.
turned into a company. So learned a lot of new and good things, and yeah. So in the past 4 years, like I have worked in like huge enterprises like Verizon, which is like in the top 20 companies, and I have worked in Freshworks, which is like the biggest SaaS startup of India. And now recently I've like joined PayPal in the like past month. So things are really good, and I would like to share more of my experience.
Yeah, okay. So that was a great journey from college. Okay. So Ayush used to work as a systems engineer and then software engineer. So these seems to be similar, but they are two different professions, right?
Yeah, yeah, you can call it like that. So the main difference between a systems engineer and a software engineer is like software engineer. It's like the main role and task is to like do the front end and back end of a application, like whatever you see on your browser, websites or Android app. So that is the main role of a software engineer. But while a system engineer is more of a back end role, like taking care of servers, taking care of system administration, like when we deploy server on any AWS cloud or whatever data center that we want. So the main goal of a system engineer is to make sure that all the servers are up and running, all the requests that are coming from the front end and the back end is being carried out to take care of the security, DDoS attacks, phishing attacks. So that is the main role of a system engineer, to make sure that like the entire system is up and running. So that is
Okay.
how would I would like to categorize between them.
Okay. And which one is preferred by majority?
So I would think like everyone start as a software engineer. Like most of the people start as software engineers. So after that you can branch out. So there
Hmm.
are there. So yeah, if you like front end, you can go to front end. If you like back end, if you like DevOps, you can
Hmm.
go. So there are like a lot of different branches. So what I would suggest people is to who are coming into this industry
Yeah.
to explore a lot of different things. Like there is data engineering, there is machine learning, there is AI, there is DevOps, front end, back end.
Hmm.
So a lot of different moving parts, like experiment, explore each and everything, and then like decide what you want to do, and then develop your specific domain knowledge, and like get into the depth of. So that is how I think it's a good thing to do.
Okay. And when and why did you decided to change your profession? Why did you decided to work as a software engineer?
Uh, no, so there is not like much difference. Like I didn't decided to do like the software engineer, system engineer, just like a industry, like the names given to it. So
Okay.
even when I was like working as a software engineer,
Hmm.
so I used to like, so Freshworks is like a medium level startup. So in that we had to take care of the DevOps, take care of deployment, and like take care of the systems part as well. So
Hmm.
I was even in Freshworks, I was in the back end in the infrastructure team.
Okay, okay. From there, basically, your development part goes strong and you enter into development sectors then.
Yeah, correct.
Hmm. So, as leading a team of engineers in GoAlert and also yourself working as a developer, how do you see developer role in any organization? What is the core factors that are needed for a developer?
Okay, so from what I have observed that, like PayPal, Freshworks, and Verizon, that there isn't a single thing that you have to do to be a great software engineer. And there is certainly not a single part to becoming a great software engineer. So everything is like, like everyone is different and things pan out differently for each other. But what I would suggest like is, whatever you do it like very good. So even if you are given some small task, like some CRUD API or, deploying a thing. So
Yeah.
make sure that you optimize it. However
Hmm.
small your project or however your small your role is, you need to take care. Like, so let us say, example, I'm designing an API, right?
Yeah, yeah.
So I would make sure like it is currently there are 100 users. It's a small project and there are only 100 users. So there's not much load. But let us say so today I have to design it in such a way, like 3 years or 5 years down the line when there are millions of users using that API, such
Mm-hmm.
that it is scalable and nothing goes wrong. Still that API is, running and it is like, compatible. So that is how I would, like ask a good developer to do. So that is a characteristic of a good developer to take care of each and everything and, make sure it is working in the future, to ask the right questions, ask the right design questions to the managers, to the product owners. So that is how I think a good developer should do. And what an organization expects from developer is like, to solve customer problems. So there are like two things, right? There is a technical engineering part and there is customer. So
Yeah.
however, how much good you are at, solving engineering problems and, like you're a tech geek and you're just doing technology all the day. But unless it has any real life implementation, unless customers or users or end users are using it, the technology will not be of any use. So while developing a technology or while developing a product, you need to make sure that the users are happy, the customers are happy, and your product or your technology is solving the customer's problem in an efficient way. So
Yeah.
that is the whole gist of a technological product, and
Hmm.
like deliver moments of wow. So that is what an organization expects from a developer.
Hmm. Like a
So
problem solving
yeah,
mindset.
yeah, problem solving mindset, because like see, everyone is doing code, like a lot of people are getting into IT industry and everyone knows coding these days.
Yeah, very true.
Coding, yeah, coding is not what do you say, is an important part right now, but integrating your coding skills with problem solving skills and like helping make a good product is what is required from an organization right now.
Mm-hmm. Got it, got it. And how did you crack your first job as a systems engineer at Verizon? Because I think you have no college support or any other support at that time.
Yeah, so I still remember like my college days. So I faced a lot of rejections. Like interviews after interviews I gave, I faced a lot of rejection. But the key is to keep trying hard.
Hmm.
So keep practicing, keep practicing. So there are like these days a lot of coding platforms are there like Geek for Geek, Lead Code, and HackerRank. So like after every interview, after every test, I failed. I used to go back. I used to learn from my failure. Like okay, there are two things. You fail and then you don't do anything. But the main part is okay, if you have failed, then you should know why you have failed. What are you lagging? So I would ask feedback from my interviewer. I would ask feedback from my seniors. I would ask feedback from my peers. Like what am I doing wrong?
Hmm.
How can I improve myself? So after every failure, I built upon it and I worked upon my what do you say? Worked upon my shortcomings and like worked upon it and finally like I got into Verizon. So
Hmm.
in Verizon, what basically helped me, like the first round was aptitude,
Okay.
and the second round had computer theory. So there was an objective test, and it consisted of like database concepts, compiler,
Hmm.
networking,
So
and
basically a technical interview, right?
yeah,
Okay.
yeah. So
Hmm.
one good thing that was there, that network and database was my favorite subject, and more like a lot of questions were from network and database. So I was able to like breeze past that.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
after that, there were like two technical interviews. So I was like preparing. I was like speaking with my friends, I prepared a lot of hard questions, and then like finally after like lot of like I remember like there were like 15 to 20 rejections, I was able to get this. So the key is
Okay.
to not quit and just keep trying hard, learn from your mistakes, and like never back down. So I think that's what helped me.
Okay. So keep moving and keep learning. Yeah.
Yeah, keep learning
Okay.
from your mistakes.
Learn from your mistakes. So for a newbie, who is like for college students, so when they prepare for technical interviews, they basically go on Geeks for Geek website and other websites and prepare themselves. But with what mindset they should go? Because we don't know what mindset we should go, and I think you can explain that because you have already so many rejections and also did so many interviews. So
So okay, so the right mindset should be of learning.
okay.
So what I feel like, what like I also used to do this, right? Okay,
Hmm.
I'll go to Geek for Geeks and I'll write top
Hmm.
10 Amazon questions or Amazon question asked in the last 2 months. So I would just try to do all these questions, and somehow or the other I would try to remember those approaches rather than coming out on my own. So a
Okay.
lot of people and a lot of students, like I have heard or seen that people will just okay, let's say Amazon is coming to your college,
Hmm.
so for past 1 month, they'll just prepare for Amazon and they'll just do those like 20, 50 or 100 questions. But and most of the people will also like try to remember the solution. So the mindset when you go to all these coding platforms should be to come out of a solution on your own. Like you should never look at the solutions unless like you have tried like for a day, then only you should look at the solution. So you should always try to obviously start with the easy questions, then go to medium, and then go to hard, but always try to come up on your solution on your own, and
Hmm.
just see like where are you lagging. So that is what I would suggest people to do.
Yeah, we should improve ourselves by seeing our mistakes only rather than just keep practicing what we are providing. Basically, spoon feeding should not be there.
Yeah, it doesn't matter like you're doing like 10 questions a day,
Hmm.
but you in like 15-20 minutes you're just seeing the solution and you are like just marking it as done. So that won't help you in the longer run.
Yeah.
So that is what because when you are going to an interview with Amazon or any big tech company, so they will not just they won't check like that, like all the test cases are running or not.
Okay.
They will ask each and every case like what is the time complexity, how you can improve it further. Like they
Yeah.
are not worried that much about the test cases, but they are
Hmm.
more interested in your approach and in your
Approach.
algorithm.
Yeah. So basically, approach and algorithm, everyone has a unique algorithm and approach, right? So that's why we should more focus on algorithm and approach rather than continuously practicing the previous questions.
Yeah. You should practice, but keep in mind how what are you learning? Let's say you do 10 questions, so
Hmm.
you solve by 10 different approaches. So the next 10 questions you should have those concepts in your mind, and then you should apply those concepts. So that
Yeah.
is how you learn. Like you shouldn't like just see that okay, I will practice 100 questions in 1 month. But
Hmm.
your idea should be like I will learn like 50 different algorithms and I will apply them. You should go with that mindset.
Okay, okay. And did you make any projects at your college time or after college? And what can you suggest to a software engineer? What projects they should work on?
Yeah, so I made like a couple of projects in the college. So I did a machine learning big data Hadoop project in my final year,
Mm-hmm.
and so yeah, so I was like very new to this concept, but I anyway decided to do a research internship, and it spun out of a project. So what I would try to like say to people in college, like try to explore as much as possible. So you can start with some easy projects like a CRUD API or a e-commerce or a blog website, and then move on to something like difficult. You can like do things like there are a lot of Node libraries, utility libraries, Java libraries
Yeah,
that you
yeah.
can work on.
Hmm.
And these days, the world is going more and more towards open source. So like you can just open GitHub. There are a lot of projects that you can start working on. Like start small, fix some issue in a big project. So I know like some of my friends, like they contribute to the React repository, which has been used like everywhere, like Facebook and all the big companies are using React. So this open source ecosystem of the programmers that has been created is like, like it's a very good community based honor system. So everyone should get on GitHub and some way or the other contribute towards open source. And like that is a very good way to even connect with the developers outside of India, and you can connect with people anywhere in the world. So
Hmm.
let us say you are in a Spring project. So like libraries. You can like contribute anywhere. So that is what you have to do. I think, like explore whatever you want, like whatever project you like. Like GitHub has like millions of projects. So
Yeah.
whatever project you like, like there are different topics like OS, networking, database. There are utility libraries. There are like adapters. There are CRUD
Mm-hmm.
APIs. There are different adapters.
Yeah.
So whatever you like, just take on it.
Mm-hmm. Our profile also get more points, and it's a good profile, I think, if we are on GitHub and continuously working on some projects.
Yeah, it shows,
Mm.
like you give back to the community. Also like these days, a lot of startups. So what they do is they don't care like which college you go, or like how much CGPA you have in your college,
Yeah,
but they care like what you have built on, how good
yeah,
you can code. So if you have projects on your GitHub, you can like it is basically a very good thing. Like it's a resume booster. People will know that okay, you have worked here and you have created these things rather than having a good CGPA. You have to focus. You have to like balance between studies and as well as these side projects, because these are like very important.
yeah, very true, very true. So now, as COVID is also here, what changes you see happening in the industry right now?
So yeah, there are a lot of changes that happened in the industry. So okay, first I'll go on like the traditional image of an office, right, has
Yeah.
disappeared. So what are traditional images like? People coming at 10 o'clock, leaving at 6 o'clock.
Hmm.
Like the whole office vibe, that formal vibe has been diminishing day by day. So now big companies, small companies, medium level companies, everyone knows that even from well, even like people are not together, even everyone is working remotely, they can contribute and they can even have more efficiency than pre-COVID areas. So that is what I think I said in the industry. People recognize that like work from home is also effective, and like a lot of big companies like Google, Microsoft,
Hmm.
Facebook, they're also considering like permanent work from home. So I
Yeah,
think this is a very good culture that has been coming. So work from home gives you flexibility, right?
yeah.
So I don't have to be in office at 10 o'clock. Like I can start work at 11 or 12 or according
Hmm.
to my time.
Yeah.
The only thing I make sure is like my work is up to date. I am helping my teammates. I'm helping everyone move. I'm giving my status updates. And
Hmm.
as a team, like we can organize and delegate tasks. And as a team, we can move forward.
Yeah.
So that is the major like change that has happened in the industry, and people are also accepting, and people are also moving forward with the fact that work can be done from home. So I
Yeah,
think that is
yeah.
a very good notion. So you don't have to be physically in an office somewhere. So you can basically use your time productively. You can like save your travel time, or you can move to your hometown, or you can travel. Let's say you can like travel to some other country while you are at work. Really good things that have happened, and
Hmm.
like people are supportive of it. So
Hmm.
earlier, work from home was not, supported in all the companies, but
Hmm.
now the whole entire world is moving towards it. So I think it is a very positive change.
Yeah, very, very positive change and very positive mindset, I think we Ayush have. So, any specific skill set that industry want from newbies, which was not before COVID?
Okay, so I think the toughest challenges now that tech individual teams and companies are facing are people challenges and not the engineering ones.
Okay.
So the people challenges I would like to elaborate is like
Hmm.
it is very important not to focus purely on technical skills but also on non-technical skills, right? See,
Hmm.
let us say as a fresher or as an experienced person, you join a new company today, like today
Hmm.
or tomorrow. So you don't know any of your colleagues there. You are like entirely in a new setting, new code base, like complete new environment.
Yeah.
So how and you cannot like go to anyone's desk, or you can not meet them physically. So
Hmm.
how would you apply your non-technical skills? How would you communicate with your peers is like really important.
Hmm.
So that is like really important. And one part that the industry wants now is over communicating is like I always believe this over communicating is better than under communicating, right?
Right.
So like this is applicable now more than ever, because in office or in a physical setting you can
Hmm.
obviously go to someone's desk, or you can ping them and go
Yeah.
to theirs. But now like everything is virtual, so you have to communicate like so that the work is not redundant. Like let us say you are doing some task and your other teammate is also doing it, so you have to proactively communicate this information to your entire team. And I
Hmm.
believe like over communicating is better, like
Hmm.
give your status updates on time, and like write detailed documentation, write detailed emails, write tech docs which are very detailed. So I
Hmm.
think
Hmm.
that is really important. And what I have believed is like writing design documentation. So let us say you work on a feature or you design an API or you deploy a new technology. So the way you did it, so like first so there are like certain steps that you have done to like make that feature to production. So you have to write a detailed documentation of each and every step so that the other guy, like the next guy who is doing it, doesn't have to call you or buzz you all the time. So that is really important to write detailed technical documentation, FAQ questions, troubleshooting guides, so that other people in your team or other people can like pick up from it. Write blogs about things that you are doing, so other people like don't have to repeat the process. So let us say
Hmm.
you are developing a feature or you are doing something new. So it took you like 10 days. You ran into a lot of issues. But if you write a detailed documentation, so the people after you who are doing the same thing don't have to go through all those 10 days of pain. They can do it in 2 days. So, and since it is a virtual setting, it is a virtual environment, it
Hmm.
is very good to, write detailed documentation. And I think that is like expected now. That is like a expected skill now after COVID.
Hmm. Okay. So write in detail whatever you think so that other people don't get confused.
Yeah. So one more thing they want is like to hone your communication skills. So specifically, like bridging the gap between the engineers and the other stakeholders on your team. So when you work in a tech company, so there are a lot of moving parts. There are like designers, there are
Hmm.
UX designer, product managers, marketing people. There will be like AI team, machine learning. So there will be a lot of different teams.
Yeah.
And since it is a virtual environment, you have to have a centralized mechanism or a streamlined way of communicating details. So that is also like really important, how well you communicate your ideas and present your ideas to the
Hmm.
team. So that is also required.
Okay. And in today's world where everything is over digital, how would you suggest the aspirants preparing for interview over video call or just a telephonic call?
Yeah, so this is like like everyone. I would just state this as an obvious fact. So just make sure you're sitting in a isolated, quiet room
Yeah.
and the internet connection is there. So that is like a
Hmm.
basic step that you have to do.
Hmm.
And to suggest how you should prepare. So okay, the coding rounds you have to prepare via Lead Code and what do you say, HackerRank and all those online test websites.
Okay.
But one thing I would like to add here, like everyone goes through the initial interview anxiety, right? So
Hmm.
one thing that I did, like I learned from my mistake is I didn't give any mock interviews. So I directly, like when I went to an interview, I didn't know what to answer. There are like certain questions that you prepare, but there are like few questions that you get stuck upon.
Yeah.
So the best way to get rid of your interview anxiety is to do some mocks,
Okay.
with your seniors, do some mocks with your friend, create a friend group, or find mentors online. Like there are a lot of mentors online who can
Hmm.
help you with the mock interviews. So
Hmm.
do your mock interviews and like you can do that. And also since everything is happening virtually, all interviews are happening over video or a telephonic call. So
Hmm.
one tip that I would like to give everyone is record your mock interviews with a friend. Like record your audio and record your video. So
Okay.
in this way, while you are recording the video, right, you can like revisit your video. So you can see your body language and
Hmm.
you can see where are you faltering. So
Yeah.
let's say you solve a coding question with the
Hmm.
interviewer. You are able to solve the question, but if you are very quiet, the interviewer will not know what you are thinking.
Hmm. Hmm.
So
Hmm.
you have to collaborate with the interviewer. You have to ask the right questions. You have to, like you have to get in that interview mindset. And
Hmm.
okay, like see, it doesn't come from day one. So the best thing is to give mock interviews, record those sessions, and revisit it again. And
Hmm.
get feedback from your seniors, get feedback from your friends, and like share that mock interview with your and like revisit it. So a
Yeah.
lot of times, what happens is the answer to the questions or the approach, but you are not able to communicate it efficiently on a telephonic call or on a video call. You're not able to like present your ideas. So if you go through a mock interview and if you see your videos, a lot of times you learn from it. Okay, like I have this
Hmm.
shortcoming and I can improve it in next time. So I think that is a really important tip, and I have myself learned from it. I have recorded my mock interviews and I have
Hmm.
gone back and seen them. Okay, oh, this is a disaster step that I did. Here I
Okay.
didn't communicate to the interviewer. So I think this is very helpful now more than ever.
Okay. Okay. So basically reviewing ourselves and express efficiently.
Yeah, yeah.
Hmm. So with this, I would like to conclude our podcast of the day. It was really an insightful session with you, Ayush. problem solving mindset, give your 100%, keep learning, build your profile, learn from your mistake, and such a positive mindset you have. Hope our listeners find this helpful too. Thank you so much, Ayush.
Yeah, thank you.
With this, I would like to conclude our podcast of the day, and we bring you every Monday new inspirational stories. Stay tuned, podcast Cods.